Good morning. I'm so excited to be here with you. And this thing always loves me. Try that button. Oh, there we go. All right. I always, like to start with an attitude of gratitude. So my daughter got married on Halloween, and it was one of the most amazing and blessed celebrations. Do I have to point this in a certain spot? There we go. So we had some wonderful people from DE show up to celebrate with us. And so I created just a little collage of those moments. So we had Bree Lieberman and Riley come, and you can kind of not see it as much, but this is my awesome associate, Madeline, down there, and Liz and her family. And this right here is Chris O'Brien's daughter, Kaylee, and they've remained friends all growing up since I went to school with Chris, and Drew and Claudia and Maria and Trenton. And just kind of goes on. I love this picture up here because it's like the cool kids at the end of it. And this girl over here with the mask on, that's Athena. I hired her to come and do fire dancing for their wedding. And this, even though she doesn't come to DE, this is my dear friend Jody that went to school together. And then her son, Jameson, I thought I put it in here, but I guess I didn't. But Jameson was Eva's best man. And this is the picture of my daughter, Lily, our youngest, seeing Eva walk down the aisle. And I just thought it was so precious, like the look on her face and the excitement. And then my dad walked Eva down the aisle. And when your daughter says she wants a 12-foot skeleton discoed, what do? You sit there and you disco a 12-foot skeleton for your daughter on her wedding. So after my office hours, after writing my books, after doing everything that I do with Teach, that's what I was up doing till about 1 a.m. most nights, discoing that skeleton. And then this is my good friend Dave. He doesn't come here anymore. He has not made it a priority, but I hope he changes his mind one day. But I would love to see Dave and Heather back here too. But I was just so blessed to have these people there. So my attitude of gratitude is thank you for making that even more special for us. So I'm going to give you guys an update. Grayson, this is a little boy I spoke about last time. And basically 15 specialists from Vanderbilt area and beyond said that told the parents that they needed to take this little boy to hospice. They didn't know what was wrong. No cancer, no genetic disorders. We just don't know what to do. He's failure to thrive. Sorry about you. And I said, oh, hell no. Not on my watch. This is not how this goes. So my daughter, Eva, for those of you who weren't here or didn't hear, was on top of this mom on Facebook and just emailing her about the potential of chiropractic and bringing this sweet little boy into my office. And then I chimed in and started on talking to this mom for a month before she brought her in. So here's our nifty little update. He was 14 pounds at 13 pounds at 14 months, and he's gaining weight. He now has no use for rescue meds as long as he can get in for care a few times a week. Sleeps through the night where he had never slept since birth. And MDs no longer think he's a candidate for hospice, and he's no longer under palliative care alone. Okay? So that is not necessarily because of me, that's because of the power of this room. It is because the collection of what we have together, like Peter was up here talking about, it's because of the field of potentiality that we work with, called chiropractic, called life. There's nothing bigger than life. Dr. Sid taught us that. So that is what I have learned in this room by plugging in, not once in a while, not when it's convenient for my pocketbook, but because I cannot afford to not be here. Because Grayson cannot afford for me to not be here. These children cannot afford for us to not be here. Adults as well. It's not just children. Animals as well. It's not just people. Hey, Francis. And so this is the text that I got from his mom after we've been working with him. And this just came in this week. This was the information. We got a lot of more answers regarding Bub's pain and how to treat moving forward. The pain psychologist, mental, brain, right, was very happy to hear that we had already established care with you all. We are not what people used to call us. We are not the weirdos and quacks. We are the definitive answer. We have the solution, Brenton, S-O-U-L, solution, you know? So they think that a lot of his pain comes from a combination of fight or flight mode and psychological pain. Basically, they think that his nervous system just always assumes he's in pain, and that's why we aren't seeing great results with narcotics. Big surprise. Big hopes between you and our OT, we can get his body back to normal and then try to treat the issue from there. People are waking up. They are waking up. They're understanding it's in the brain. They're understanding that a subluxation, even they don't know that that's what it's called, gets stored in our nervous system, in our brain, as an imprint of an unintegrated life experience, most likely an unintegrated in utero experience, and has stayed with this little boy. Wrong button. So this is Grayson now. Okay? This has only been about Dr. Maddie, 3-4 months period since we've been seeing him. And it's not my adjustment almost 20 years into practice that has done this, because Dr. Maddie sees him too, and she graduated in March, and she's rocking it, and he's getting great results with her. So it's not because I'm in this pediatric focused world for as long as I've been. This is just what we all have with our hands and our heart, if we allow it to be in the right space. So this is what his mama wrote me last night, or actually this morning. Grayson is now 17 pounds. This is the highest weight he has ever been. He is back to tolerating some breast milk by mouth, which he's been on a feeding tube, which he's not done in months. He is as active as body will allow, and we have seen tremendous improvement in his speech and energy levels. He is doing well in therapy, and we thought we were going to have to give up. We recently got diagnosed with chronic pain disorder that we are now able to treat with 0 narcotics thanks to Dr. Jamie and Dr. Maddie. He is back to sleeping through the night with minimal rescue meds, which is such an improvement. We were given up to 3 rescue meds just in a single night before chiropractic care. I am so blessed and thankful for you and Dr. Maddie. You have all made me have hope that maybe Grayson isn't just some terminally ill baby with no hope. We are hope dealers, guys. Come on. There is no way to repay you. I don't want a thing. It's out of the abundance of my heart. Actually, I don't even charge them, to be honest, for all of what you have done for Grayson. And it's an honor that you guys want to share Grayson's story. It truly makes my heart so full that so many people are devoted in the care and well-being of Grayson. Because she knew I shared. I asked her. She obviously didn't care. So she wanted me to give you guys this update. So I want to talk about wounded healers. How many in here has heard the term wounded healer? How many in here honestly would consider yourself a wounded healer? Okay, I'm going to challenge you that in today, because you know what, to be honest, this is where I've been the majority of my career. So only the wounded healer is able to heal. As long as we think that spiritual leaders need to be perfect, we live in poverty. I have a perfect teacher inside. There is no perfect teacher outside. It's all from inside. And I remember in chiropractic school, I thought that I had to heal myself and be perfect in order to put my hands on somebody else and get the results that I wanted to see. And so I beat myself up. I dug so deep into my pains and woes and pulled up crap and all this stuff just to simply realize that I was perfect as I was, that I didn't really need to go through any of that. I didn't need to go through that self-torture. I didn't have to put myself through hell. I just had to be the perfect person that I was created to be and accept that perfect person inside of my temple. So this was supposed to be a video. You guys would have got to hear her sweet little voice, but I PDF'd it, so it didn't work. But this is why I've been a wounded healer for most of my life. And I said that I had that emotion when I was in chiropractic school, but this is my daughter, Sophia, that was diagnosed with brain cancer, terminal brain cancer, shortly after we moved to Spain. And as she passed away in 2012 from chemotherapy that I did not want for her, that I lost that battle with my ex and his family. And so I really had a lot of healing to do. I cannot say that I felt like I was a complete person, but she made me look at things in such a different way. And coming here after she passed is why I'm standing here sharing this story with you, saying I'm no longer a wounded healer. And it's because I came to DE time and time again. I burned stuff in Chris's box. I went home and I did the work. I do the 49 breaths in the morning. You know, I do everything I can do. I read my green books. I'm telling you, looking back to see ahead, that is a defeating book because you feel like you're a champion getting through it. You're on page 250 and you feel like you've gotten nowhere in that book because it's this thick. And that's where I'm at right now as I'm reading that book. So like I'm always putting my time in with that. But here's what I want to challenge you guys in. There's something called a healed healer. And so when I came to DE, I want to say it was about 2 years ago now in July that I sat down with Dr. Cordero and talked and just really opened myself up. And when I went home, it's not like he gave me a grand answer. He just gave me the things in my brain to let my innate connect to what needed to happen next. And so when I went home, I realized I need to spread my daughter's ashes. I had just been holding on to them, like waiting for some grand, waterfall moment or whatever. I don't know what I was expecting to do. So I went and decided this is the moment. And so I spread her ashes to the day that I moved to chiropractic school. I can't remember exactly what the year. I think it was 20 years to the day that I moved to Atlanta for chiropractic school and 10 years to the day that I came back from Spain after she had passed. I'd held on to him for that long. And in that, a portal of potential for me opened up. But I had been coming here since 2012, and it took that long. So you got to keep priming the pump. You don't know. You may be like, oh my gosh, it's been a decade. When is it going to shift? You know what? It may be tomorrow. It may be in 10 more years. Don't be attached to it. Just keep plugging in. Keep doing the work. So a healed healer heals with the imperfections that life brings. So today I want to challenge you to shift from the wounded healer like I had to the healed healer. The healed healer, physician, heal thyself. It's in the Bible. I want to replace that with chiropractor, but that's just what Luke says. Self-care is not a sin. Self-abuse is. We cannot continually keep serving in our practice, neglecting ourselves, neglecting our family, neglecting our bodies and temples. It's God, myself, family, chiropractic. But we know the power of chiropractic, and we know we're doing God's work. So we can kind of get that a little bit jumbled in there. So mature healers recognize the importance of self-renewal and practice it. That is exactly why we're sitting here in this room. That is exactly why we need to be here, not once in a while, not when it's convenient, but all of the time. So we can be at a place of renewal. And to be honest, if this is all you give yourself 4 times in a year, you're at least doing that. It's a great start. But then you can transfer this back home with you and start working on thing after DE after DE and change your whole dynamics. So I want to read something to you. And if this isn't the power and potential of this room, I really don't know what is. And this is called The Master Keys of Healing by Alan Cohen. I absolutely love him. And I was introduced to him when I was in chiropractic school reading a book called The Deep Breath of Life for Daily Affirmations. So, genuine healers serve not only through the life changes they stimulate in their patients, participants is what I like to call them. Patient means one who suffers, but also as role models that inspire us to cultivate noble qualities and skills in our own lives. These are the characteristics of a healed healer. So this is where I invite you to shift. And Dr. Maddie, I didn't put this up because it's like 10 long. She always told me, she's like, write them out on there so people can read them, but you didn't want all these PowerPoints. So she acknowledges that she serves as a vehicle for a higher power working through her. Genuine healers do not take credit for their healing, but attribute it to a universal life force available to all. I swear he's a chiropractor. He places service before selfish interests and seeks to help more than acquire money, power, ego, fame, or establish a personal empire. She makes no distinctions between patients who are worthy of healing and those who are not. Religion, race, gender, age, culture, wealth, caste, nation, and personal history are irrelevant. If someone needs help and is willing to receive it, that person is worthy of treatment. He is humbly honest about his own journey, reveals his humanity, and strives to stay on the leading edge of his own spiritual growth. She does not compete with other healers, judge or criticize those whose methods are different, or seek to be right by making others wrong. He balances his work with self-renewal and soul nurturing. When stress arises, he steps back and takes care of himself so he doesn't burn out, okay? Note that in your heart. She does not, I can't even say this word, proestalize, campaign to gather members or evaluate her worth or success by a number of followers. She trusts the law of attraction to join her with the people she can help most, be they few or many. He is willing to flow and evolve in the techniques he subscribes to, open to changing and expanding, and lets go of old, smaller beliefs to embrace new and greater ones. That's why we're here this weekend. She respects the right of participants to choose healing or not, recognizing that her participants have their own learning curve and they will come to healing in their own right way and timing. And last, of course, but not least, he establishes his vision in the wholeness and wellness of his participants and does not label or join them in a sense of limitation. He does not seek to magnify their sense of need, but decreases it. His goal is to support clients to be independent of treatment. You are no longer wounded healers after this weekend. You are healed healers. So Dr. Sid, when anybody would ask him, what would he say after they said, "How are you?" Near perfect. Amen, right? Dr. Sid would say near perfect. And I know the majority of things that Dr. Sid says, I do not question. But today I'm going to question it only for this purpose of shifting you from a wounded healer to a healed healer. Because I want you to be a healed healer, so then that way when you go back home, you can see the masses that you were meant to serve. You do not have the limitations inside of your heart, inside of your mind, inside of your temple, inside of anything residing in you. You are complete. You are whole. You are connected to the source. The perfection of the soul. You will not achieve wholeness by doing more, which is what often we think. You will achieve wholeness by knowing you are more. You are everything. You are everything you need to be. You are everything to the source of God, whatever you want to call it. You are perfect, absolutely perfect. With your imperfections, that makes you perfect. It is the essence of what creates you to be unique, to have your soul be on the journey of what it's meant to do in this life for its soul contract. And one of the reasons I've been able to heal with Sophia is because I read a book called Many Lives, Many Masters. And I listened to Dr. Wayne Dyer, and through Ram Dass, they talk about a soul contract and that we agree for our hardships, we agree who our parents are going to be, we agree about all of this prior to our incarnation into the womb. So if that's the case, my little kid soul, when I was going into my mother's body, said, you know what, all right, I'm signed up to take care of my child, that this is going to happen one day. I'm signed up that my parents are going to get divorced. I'm signed up that I'm going to have a heroin addict, alcoholic stepmother. I'm signed up that I will have an eating disorder as a cheerleader in high school. Like, there's a lot of things that I've had to overcome. And I eat pancakes now. I gained some pancake weight, if you can't tell. It was chocolate pancakes. It's all her fault. But they are gluten-free, but it still happened. I've been behaving. So everything in life is a choice in how you respond to it. You know, so when I learned about this soul contract, it was just like, I just got to accept it and go on and move through it and learn that this is just the perfection of the life and the journey. It's a journey, not a destination, right? So see yourself as God sees you. If you see all these little children with all the things going on in this world, I can't look at any face in this and say that there's anything flawed in any of them. They're perfect. And that's exactly how you're seen. That's how our children are seen, even though they drive us crazy sometimes. So I want you to really hone into that and really take that home with you after this weekend, because your soul is perfect. It is our ego that is not. It is our temple that may struggle because we think these imperfections exist, therefore it transforms our matter, okay? So everything that we have in our body that may be expressing health or whatever, it's more ego expression, because the soul is perfect. And if the soul was expressing everything it needed to through matter, we would look like all these little children, But we are these little children. We have this capability. There's still the little you inside of you, just like there's the little me inside of me. So questions for you. What would happen if your wounds weren't your weaknesses, but your wisdom? Okay? What would that look like? Very different than how we really think about it. How much of your exhaustion each week, each day, each month, each year really comes from trying to earn your worth? Feeling like you have to seek something. And I am so guilty of that. Because to be honest, when I had to go through everything with healing through Sophia, I just wanted to keep plugging in to doing different projects and doing different things and speaking and this, that, and the other thing. And I wanted to be a dynamic force, not because I wanted my ego to be recognized by you guys in this profession. I wanted to make a difference in the world. I really did. I could care less if anybody even knows who I am or my name, as long as I make an imprint in their heart in some way, shape, or form, and then they can go and keep passing that on. But my exhaustion came from trying to earn worth because I kept thinking for the longest time, if I just keep achieving, reaching for that next 10%, then I'm finally going to be worth it. But you know what happens after you write one book? Okay, now I got to write another one. After you write that, okay, now I need to write an adult book. And my husband tells me not to say that because it kind of sounds like it's X-rated. But I was like, heck, if I sell more books that way, whatever, Cool, but so I call it my big kid book, just so I'm politically correct with him. And then it was like, okay, I got that done. And prior to that, okay, I need to write some magazines, So I wrote an international magazine for Life Missions International. And I wrote my own magazine called The Connected Way that is a version of Pathways, but it's not so pediatric pregnancy focused. It's for anybody of any age. What if you have a college student who isn't thinking about having kids? What if you have somebody elderly that's not in that part of their life? So this magazine is completely educational for them on what it is that we do and why they need to be seeing you guys. But in that, as much as I wrote, as much as I speak, as much as I do, none of that determines my worth. My worth is how I know I'm perfect, how I know I am a healed healer. And I no longer prescribe to being a wounded healer. And it's totally cool that I was. And you know what? There's going to be moments in my life where I get wounded again, and I'm going to probably slip back to that. But then you know what? Because I've stepped into the era of being a healed healer, then I know it's possible again. And it's okay. That's just what we do. We slip and check. And that's perfect. And that's why we have accountability in this room and accountability partners, that help us get through what we need to get through. So what would change in your life if you stopped chasing perfection and started embodying wholeness? We expect this of our participants, but do we truly, truly make it happen for ourselves? It's like we almost sometimes think that they have more potential than we do, but we're the ones bringing the potential to the table. So it's crazy for us to sit there and think that we are lacking in that, but we expect them to do it. So have a check with yourself on that. Where do you need to shift that mentality inside of yourself? Where do you just need to simply let go? Because when you do, your hand opens up for more possibilities. And that's truly, truly what's important. And so one thing that made me also shift, and I didn't necessarily think I was going to talk about this, but I got some time, so I'll share this with you. So a few years ago, I was really wanting an associate. I was cranking it out. I was getting to be at about 400 a week, and I had a lot of physical things going on with my own digestion. I had a lot of things going on with my family, and I was just like, okay, I need an associate. Everything was aligned perfectly at that moment for me to have an associate. The finances were there, the need was there, my practice was booming. Everything was just in that state of like, yep, this is it, this is the moment, okay? And so, long story short, didn't work out. He left. He opened up his own practice in the same city that I practice in, and he's no longer there. He moved. I think he's somewhere by you guys now. And basically, what we do can look really easy to somebody who recently graduated. They don't see the 20, 30 years, 10 years of hard work, blood, sweat, and tears that really go into it. And one of my assistants said that he had made a statement, and I'm not even sure if this is true, so I'm not trying to put words in mouth, it could be hearsay, but that I had a toxic environment. And I was like, really? Because I'm the most easygoing person, I'm free-flowing, whatever. I'm just like, you do you, you're an adult, figure it out, So that blew my mind, but I'm that type of person with integrity, and I wanted to say, you know what? What truth may be in that statement? How can I analyze this? Because if this is a possibility of an opinion from somebody, maybe there's something I'm just sweeping under the rug. Maybe I don't want to look at things. Maybe I need to get out a little magnifying glass and have a gut check. So that's what I did. And I said, aside from any opinions, aside from anything, I don't want history to repeat itself if I were to ever attract an associate to myself again. So I worked on myself. I worked on letting go with Sophia. I worked on my family because my daughter was in a state of mental health at that time that wasn't good. My husband was in a state of mental health. Lily was just being her crazy self like always. There were a lot of things going on in the dynamics. My finances were okay, but I was in a whole lot of debt. And I still am, but I'm getting out of that. Things are really turning around. And so I'm not thinking I'm in a place for, needing or wanting an associate, even though it's like a good dream, kind of like, yay, I'd love to have one. And then I come and teach for the GCC, and Dr. Maddie is in that class, and she asked me a few questions during the class, and I was just like, oh, okay, we talked afterwards. Still in my mind, I'm not thinking associate. And then she makes a post on a Tennessee chiropractors page. And I was like, well, I don't really think I'm in a place for an associate doctor right now, but I'd love to help you on your journey, help you get in the right place, or maybe we can figure something out. I don't know. And so she ended up accepting a position in another city in Tennessee, and we were both at the Tennessee Chiropractic Association meeting, which, thank you, Josh. I won an award from the Tennessee Chiropractic Association there, and it's all because of Josh Carmack suggesting me, so I'm so thankful that you did that, and it was the Dr. Keith Bailey Service Award. And so at that, and I did my continuing education time at that seminar as well, so I didn't just go for the award. And Dr. Maddie had prayed when she went into her class that she needed to take to get her Tennessee license. She was just feeling uneasy about what she was going into and like it might not be the right fit for her. And so she prayed and said, God, please send me a sign. And then as soon as she left that class, she ran into me in the hallway. And we just hugged and started talking. And then I said, hey, come see me at my office and just see how it is. See if you like it. At least I can give you some ideas on how to practice. Because I have a daycare center some moments there, and then I have kumbaya moments. It just depends on what God wants to bring me that day. And so she did, and she stopped by, and in her mind, I asked her about volume, and she said, I kind of want to be at like 150 a week. And I was like, okay, that's cool, like if that's where you want to be. So when she saw what we do there, she was like, this is easy compared to what I thought. Like, we can really see a good amount of people. And it isn't the McDonald's of chiropractic. And I say, no, it's the Ruth Chris of chiropractic, because it's all about value, right? It's all about the quality of what you give them. If you want to give them McDonald's quality and just give them a crappy cheeseburger, go for it. But you know what? No, we got finesse. We got taste. We got savor, right? And so after that, I wrote up this beautiful proposal for her and sent it to her, and it worked perfectly. Now, let me tell you this, and I don't even know if she knows this. I was totally not in a place financially to do this. I went out on a limb and was like, you know what? I feel that this is what Innate is telling me to do. And my consciousness, my ego was like, don't you do this. You are not ready. Look what happened last time. You don't have the money right now. You are scraping at the bottom of everything that you have. Like, how are you going to pull this off? And I said, you know what? Leap of faith. I'm going on a leap of faith because that's all I got right now. And this is what my innate is telling me to do, and I'm going to listen to the voice within. I'm not going to deny it. And so I said, no, let's do it. And I had been having like CA turnovers like you would not believe. I went through like 9 CAs because I typically had 2 to 3 CAs at a time for a busy office. I have to have a baby holder and someone to help with new intakes and reports and all that stuff. So I just said, hey, you ready to do this old style? I'm going to regrow my practice, and we're going to go back to like me and you are going to run this practice. We're going to get volunteers, and they're going to help answer the phone and sign people in and all that and clean tables for us. But other than that, it's me and you, girl. And she's like, yep, I'm in. Let's do this. And it has been one of the most rewarding and blessed experiences. I'm like the new dog show, or the old dog showing up to practice, like, all right, what tricks do you want to show me? And we don't discuss hardly anything in the day. It's so beautiful, the symbiotic relationship that we have. And it's just like, nope, I got this. Nope, I got this. And by the end of the day, we're just like, wow, it felt like a slow day. How many did we serve? Like we got snowed out last week, so it was not our best numbers. But it was like, at the end of the day, we're like 70. And we're like, okay, that's not too bad, for 5.5 hours of adjusting. But there was one Tuesday that it wasn't even like Thanksgiving or wasn't anything special, and we saw 122 from 10 to 12. That's on Tuesday mornings, that's my mom hour and baby hour. So we'll see like 45 just in those times, just in that 10 to 12 period. But we felt like, I'm not kidding, we were like almost twiddling our thumbs, even though, and we're like, wow, we saw 122? That was crazy. So you got to trust that inner voice. You have to trust that even if it doesn't feel right, it could be. And I did that, and I'm renewed in practice, and I'm so grateful for you. I love having you there every day. I'm so excited to show up to work. I wasn't burnt out, but like, man, the fire is fully lit now because we're just partnering, doing this together, and changing lives like Grayson. And so this is the potential that we have. But what I had to realize through that too is my soul was perfect. My soul was perfect in giving me that message. What if I wouldn't have trusted my soul? These kids wouldn't be getting helped to the degree that they are. When I have a moment of burnout, I wouldn't be able to take care of myself to the degree that I can now. I'm able to go and speak at the gathering this year for the ICPA. And Maddie's going with us. We're actually closing the office for that one. But then when I go and speak at Mile High in August, Dr. Maddie's covering the office. So there's sometimes like DE, we're closing down, this is what we need to do, and then other moments she's gonna cover. And then she's got some stuff going on like her best friend's wedding. We got each other, but our community's getting served. And that is the most important thing. And it's not just getting served just on a baseline level. It's getting served with love, the highest quality of love that we could both offer. And it's because of DE. It's because of this room. It's because of Dr. Sid's vision. And it's because we got the big idea. Okay? Thank you. So I'm going to leave you with this one quote. Oh, go back. I swear I didn't touch a button. Will you put that last quote back up for me? Okay, thank you. The whole truth is this: the time of the half-life is over. Done. There is no more time for half-hearted living, half-truths, and dividing life into compartments. We have work to do here. It begins from the inside out, with a commitment to see ourselves as whole and to embrace the fullness of who we are and who we are becoming. I love and appreciate you guys.